National Roads Authority wishes to notify the public of significant changes being made to improve the safety and functionality of the Grand Harbor Roundabout. To optimize traffic flow and enhance public safety, from June 2023, motorists will no longer be able to turn onto South Sound Road or Crew Road via the Grand Harbor Roundabout when exiting the Grand Harbor area. Those leaving Grand Harbor will need to travel up along Shamrock Road and circle the next roundabout if wishing to travel west. With the number of cars on our roads increasing and with the congestion seen on a daily basis in the area, the decision to close this exit was made to improve public safety and reduce the risk of collision. The NRA wishes to thank the public for their understanding and cooperation as we continue to work to improve the safety and development of Cayman's roads.
Real life, real topics. Welcome back to Cayman Conversations, now streaming on Cayman Times Facebook and YouTube channels, and also live on Bobo FM 89.1. If you'd like to pay on Cayman Conversations, email me at ralph@caymaniantimes.ky or just call 916-2000. Now it's time for the first conversation with our special guests. We welcome Keith Schumacher and Patricia Bryan, who will speak about a new program that's being launched in Cayman. Keith serves as a school chapter specialist with the All Pro Dad Chapters program of Family First Inc. He supports local schools and school districts in launching family engagement programs that are inclusive and welcoming to fathers and father figures. He has spent nearly 40 years of his life caring for children, not as a teacher, but as a firefighter and a paramedic. Throughout his career, Keith has focused on serving children in emergency situations. His wife, Carolyn, is a 29-year-old Cobb County, Georgia teacher. He's a proud father of two grown daughters. He launched a very successful Watchdog program at his local school, and we'll let Keith tell you more about himself in a little while. First of all, let's say good day and welcome to Keith and Patricia. How are you doing, folks?
Hi, Ralph. Thank you for having us on your show. Hi, Keith. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, and thank you, Ralph. It's an honor to be a part of your show today.
And it's my pleasure, And I love this technology, StreamYard. You can stay here in the Cayman Islands and talk to you with Georgia and Patricia somewhere else in the island. But that's how it works these days. And so thanks for technology. Wonderful. Patricia, it's really great to see you. I know you reached out to me, and we'd like to tell our listeners that they can do the same thing. And you had some great news you wanted to share, and you want to introduce me to Keith and just tell us what's Keith's connection with you right now.
Well, Keith and I started working together in January of this year. The All Pro Dad program is a program that I was aware of for quite a number of years. And as I was returning home last year, for some reason, it just came to me, why don't I reach out to this organization and try to see if this could be a part of our community here in the Cayman Islands. I looked into the organization. I sent a request for more information, and Keith was the person that responded. And it's been a union ever since. Been trying to get the program here in Grand Cayman. So with this appearance today, we're hoping to get the information out there to the public and also bring awareness for our officials that they will gain some form of interest in looking into the program a bit further and talking to Keith.
Of course, and as a dad myself, I welcome this conversation because it's so important. Now, Keith, we can switch over to you.
Yes, sir.
You met Patricia and you've been working with her. Tell us more about yourself and your organization and what you do.
Well, first of all, Ralph, like yourself, I'm a dad. I have two grown daughters. And when I was, actually it was when my daughter was in kindergarten many, many years ago, I was volunteering at the school. My wife was a teacher at the school. And one of the teachers just mentioned to me one day, and I was able to volunteer because of my work schedule with the fire department at the time. I spent a lot of time volunteering at the school because that's where my family was. It was where I wanted to be. But one of the teachers said it's just different when you're here, when you're the volunteer. And I wasn't quite sure how I wanted, how to take it. I wasn't sure if it was a compliment or a cut. So so I kind of challenged her on it. I said, well, tell me, what is it? She said, well, when you're in the classroom, when you're with the students, when you're around the school as a volunteer, the boys seem to sit a little straighter. The girls are a little more attentive. She said she just couldn't put her finger on exactly what it was, but it was just a different air in the room. And then I said, well, is it like that when the other dads are here? And she said, oh, we never have dads. And that was when it really kind of struck me. And at that particular school at that time, I looked around and realized that in that school, even the custodian was a lady. And it really dawned on me that those students really never had a chance to have some positive male role models during their normal daily routine because there just weren't any in the building, and certainly not downplaying the role that the teachers and that the moms were involved in the PTA and were doing a phenomenal job, but there was just something missing. So I really got more of a passion for being involved in doing this. I went to the principal. We tried to do, what most guys in my position would do. We tried to do it on our own. And it was just difficult to what I now know as reinventing the wheel. We know there are programs out there that are able to bring in a level of engagement. And it's just been an honor and a privilege to be able, for the last now almost 14 years, to be able to do that kind of work. I retired from the fire department in 2019, and I now do this full time. And it's just such a privilege to be able to have someone to tell me things like, we don't have dads come to our school. Our students, just don't have dads. I've heard that so many times. And to be able to say, let's take a look, let's look at our messaging, let's look at how we do things, and then watch the face on that school administrator when, 25, 30, 45, 50, 100 guys come walking in the door to just be there for just that few moments. Sometimes with our program, it's a breakfast event before school. Come on in, have some time with your kids, tell them you love them, tell them that you're proud of them, and just encourage them to have a great day. And a lot of times it really changes the dynamic of a family when you just take that few minutes and just look at things, a little differently. When the school administration looks at their messaging a little bit differently, it changes the dynamic.
Yes, and you're so true. I have a few things to say, but let's see what Patricia has to say about that.
Well, Keith, I think it's very important for us to note where you have chapters located with this organization. Us being a British dependent territory country, I know you said there was 1 or 2 chapters in our mother sovereignty of the UK. So you could elaborate on that a bit more for us, please.
Certainly. This program started in Tampa, Florida. It was actually, if you're familiar with American football, Coach Tony Dungy was one of the co-founders. He got together with a gentleman named Mark Merrill 25 years ago. This is not something that's new. 25 years ago, they got together and decided they wanted to do something for dads to be able to be better engaged with their kids. Work together with the Hillsborough County school system, and over the years, we've built this up. Currently, we have just short of 1,500 chapters. Mainly across the U.S., of course. We're in 46 states. We have chapters, 2 chapters in London. We have had chapters that in South Africa. We have had chapters in Canada. And probably one of my proudest international chapters, until we get Cayman chapters up and running, we do have a chapter in Cairo, Egypt. So this is something that, because the resources are easily available online, the curriculum is available online, this is something that is very simple to do. We don't have to ship you anything. We don't have to send anything back and forth. Everything is able to be done online. So this would be something that would be very easily to bring on board in Cayman.
So it has to be implemented into the regular school curriculum, is what you're saying?
That's normally the way it runs, but we there can be independent chapters. We do have some churches that run chapters. We do have we have some homeschool families that use our resources. So it doesn't have to be a part of the school, but that is our best model, to be able to have these events at the school. As I said, generally they are a breakfast event before school. Believe it or not, the guys will come out as early as 6:15 or 6:30 in the morning, to spend some time with their young ones at the school, and then still be able to make it to work on time. So yes, it's primarily a school program. We have a lot of school districts that are now using us as part of their family engagement program. Of course, here in the state, there are federal mandates, as a part of the federal funding, where they have to provide specific programs to let families be engaged in the school. And a lot of the school districts are bringing us on to be able to meet those mandates.
Well, if I can just jump in right here, I remember in my younger days as a parent, and there was a challenge with getting fathers to attend Parent Teachers Association meeting, PTAs. And so
Absolutely.
when I was the president of one such school, um, that was one of our efforts to try and get that, and it was a challenge, and there was a concern of having more fathers at those PTA events, and I can see where some efforts from a chapter such as this can help in that area, because it's hard. There are always
It is.
and a reason why dads can't attend, but if they can see where other dads overseas and other places around the world are making efforts to join forces, and they see the benefits of it and have some information that you're sharing out there in the open, I think that this will encourage them that
Absolutely.
should
Absolutely,
make every
Ralph. And
effort to listen.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because that is exactly what we do. Because if you look at our culture in general, generally, we see that it is the mothers, the lady teachers that have been carrying the ball, I guess you would say, for decades. And it is always in old school culture, the guys, the dads were out, we were out bringing in the living. We were out there, the guys were the ones that were bringing home the check, and it was the moms that were,
Yes.
raising and rearing the kids. Well, obviously our culture has changed, and that has flipped. Probably a majority of the moms are now working outside of the home, and
Right.
we've not done a real good job of making that cultural transition of saying, we know that the moms have been doing a phenomenal job in supporting schools, and we kind of bypass the dads, and schools generally kind of overlook and undervalue the contribution of the dads, because we
Yeah.
weren't there before, and we need to be able to make a welcoming and an inclusive feel to let these guys be a part. And when we specifically use a program like this, the guys, they've got to say, hey, they understand this is for you. This isn't something that you can pass off to mom. This isn't something that you can let somebody do for you. This is a direct invitation. You're welcome. You're included. We need you to be a part of your child's education. And when we make it real simple, it's just breakfast. It's just come in, grab a quick breakfast, get a great message, and still make it to work on time. It's been so simple. I mean, we have literally had, hundreds of thousands of male role models that have come in and been a part of this, this very simple event. And we know that it's not always going to be dad. It's not always going to be that biological dad.
That's my next question.
And exactly. And we want the schools to understand this is an inclusive program that is welcome for any student in the school.
Right.
We really want those students to invite somebody. So it could be
Some male figure, father figure.
Absolutely. A coach, a teacher. In some cases, it is mom. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that nobody is excluded from this. This is, everybody is welcome to become a part of this and participate in this.
Well, Patricia, what is your hope, and where do you see All Pro Dads fitting into the Cayman Islands?
Well, I wanted Keith, if he was able to get an update of how successful the program is in London, if he might have caught up with that. Kind of give us an idea of how the organization helps fund this program with the countries that want to become chapters, and kind of give us an idea of what the program is. Is it something more of a standard educational curriculum? Is it interactive, fun sort of thing, or a mixture of both, so people can get a better idea of what that is all about? Caymanians love fun. Residents on these islands love fun, interactive things. So that's very important.
Absolutely. Well, right now I don't have that information in front of me on the London chapters. I do know that there was some discussion about partnering with the Metro London Police Force as far as helping support that and making that that interaction there. But I can certainly get that to you. But as far as funding, we are a nonprofit organization here in the States, so that gives us the ability and the horsepower, because we have a very significant number of donors here in the States that fund this. We also get government grants in the states of Florida, Texas, Indiana, and soon Tennessee. So the background of this, the back end of this, a school in Cayman would not have to pay for that. There's only a $100 registration fee per school year per year, not per family, per school. So we could, realistically grow this program across all of the schools in the Cayman Islands for only $100 per school. And that would be for the full school year. And that would give you 10 complete curriculum sets to have 10 of these events.
And I can see that there are many of our residents who will be very interested in this. We understand the importance that men play in the lives of children. And I'm sure that the business owners, even the educators and our own government, and would be in this. And I want to thank Patricia for actually bringing us here, talking about it. And I think you just need some momentum behind you to get this thing happening, get the word out there. And that's what Cayman Conversation is all about. Let's start talking about it. Actually, there's a talk show that's on the same radio station tomorrow by my friend Robert Lynch, talking about that in children's lives. So we all are realizing.
And Father's Day is coming up in a few weeks also. So this is all
exactly.
This is all coming together at the right time.
But we've said so over and over again that fathers play a major role in children's lives. And we've heard it over and over again. And these kind of programs, Keith, can really emphasize it and show us how to get it done, how to get the message across. And I'm
the dynamics of having a program like this in a culture such as ours is, historically the Caribbean is known for having male family members, step in to play dad's roles. And I think this is one of those programs that our local men, our local Caymanian men would love to be a part of. Despite the fact many may not be in the actual home of their children, I have seen over the years that more and more fathers are becoming more involved with their children, and wanting to do more, be more interactive. And I think this program would very well fit in right in there at this time in Cayman society to bring all of that together. Our children needs this more now than ever. Women are becoming more involved in a more magnified way. And I think, men naturally need encouragement and push and drive. They need something to give them that working towards feeling. And I think this program would be one of those, especially if it's free per se. It doesn't have to come out of the parents' pockets or anything like that. And another thing I needed to ask, is this a program that could be done at lunch, after school, as opposed to breakfast time? And we consider some male figures or some male persons or dads may have different
absolutely
different time frames working and schedules and so forth.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this program is really the program is run locally as the local school administrator sees fit. So if they wanted to have evening events, if they wanted to have lunch events, breakfast events, that's totally up to the local school administrator. We have one school district in Texas where they'll have a in-person event in the morning and then turn around and repeat the same event virtually in the evening and get a whole different audience. So it really, this program is capable of being presented virtually very easily, which I think is the main reason why we survived the pandemic so well, where some of the other
Right.
programs didn't. We flipped this thing virtually by April of 2020. We were up and running virtually. So we had a considerable number of schools that just, they never stopped. They just continued with the program. One of the other things I wanted to mention, Patricia and Ralph, is that we are launching a new program starting this fall that will focus specifically on grades 6 through 12. So we will have the option coming up in the new school year for schools that would want to use our program with a curriculum that is specific for grades K through 5, and then another program which would be grades 6 through 12. Obviously, it's geared more for the older kids, and I think we'll probably all agree that that's when fathers and father figures, positive role models, really need to lean in harder with our students to be able to be those positive role models, so that they don't get too far off track as far as behaviors and such.
And is the program available only for public schools, or can it be used for private schools also? Because we have a lot of private schools here.
Public schools, private schools, churches. As I mentioned, we even have homeschool families that use the curriculum
Right.
as part of their in-home education. So yes, it's it would be very easy to operate in a private school, public school, charter school. I don't know if that's in in your model in Cayman or not, but realistically, anywhere that you can get a group of folks together, you can present this material.
Okay. Now we've heard about the program. How can it benefit the Cayman Islands, or how did it benefit the U.S.? Let's show how important this program is to the wider community.
Absolutely. We've been very fortunate to have a partnership with the University of South Florida, which I know Patricia's going to be happy to hear that. And I wanted to mention that to you, since I know
That's
you,
good news.
as a
We have
proud
a lot of
Mongolian.
Caymanian students graduating from USF all the time.
Yes. So USF did a study on our impact on family engagement and on literacy, and improving reading scores throughout the state of Florida. So some of the statistics that have come through are very good, very positive on those numbers as well. So if anybody would be interested in seeing that study, or at least I do have an infographic that kind of lays that out. So I would be willing to provide that as well.
Well, I can say, Ralph and Keith, that I think all of our officials that are governing the Cayman Islands are parents and grandparents, and I know it is a priority. Family dynamics and helping families come together, remain together, foster. So I am quite sure, I won't be sure, but I am almost certain that as this information gets out, our officials will develop a keen interest in this program and want to find out more. From what I've known about the program so far, I think it will build that gap in our society, to draw fathers and father figures more into our young men's lives as they're growing. Of course, like you said, the studies have shown that father figures playing a role in young men's lives and young girls from a very early age creates a certain substance in a child. And I think this program, I feel very confident that this program is that gap, that bridge that will build that gap. And I also think it will make learning fun for students and their fathers also, because especially maybe the online part. And of course, when breakfast, if they choose the morning, breakfast is thrown in there, I think it's going to do very well for the Caymanian society. Considering where we're at, there's a lot of emphasis on family with our officials here now, um, and that's a good thing. Again, this is where this program would be very beneficial to our community.
And I agree with you so much. And yeah, I'm not letting the government off the hook, but I also think that there are many organizations that can get involved. The
Yes,
Lions, the Rotary.
exactly,
We are
exactly,
lucky enough to have many groups who have been committed to the community. And the government alone can't do everything. They have their hands full
absolutely,
trying to deal with
absolutely.
inflation and everything else. And so, yes, we need a support, but also if you can get all those other groups, non-profit organizations, like you mentioned, to get involved with focusing also on helping fathers be better dads, I think they'll will achieve a lot. And most of those gentlemen I know in those groups have families of their own, and
Right.
we can be role models. And
Right,
I
and
believe
that's why I
we
wanted to
can
get the
do that side.
information out too, because other organizations, like you said, can get involved. Other
Yes,
community persons may want to get involved, and it's all collectively done together. Because of our community, we wanted everybody pitch in and make this happen. I think
yes,
it can. I think it can happen, and I know Keith is very excited. Tampa in itself plays a very historical part in the Cayman Islands, with shipping and many Caymanians living there and going to school there. So here again, it's always something that's coming up that says this is something that we can make happen.
yes.
So
I
I
totally
think
agree.
as we get this out there, that we'll start seeing some doors opening
So, so
terms.
how can we contact yourself, Patricia, or even Keith to get the information? In case someone wants to, hey, I want to start something, I want to register, want to be involved with part of this, who can they contact locally, or can they go direct to Keith?
Well, I can give my information, and of course, whatever,
I would
whatever.
say that they can go directly to our webpage, which is
Right.
allprodadchapters.com. Once again, that's allprodadchapters.com. And when they get to that webpage, they're going to be able to make a choice of if they want to see information as a parent or as an educator. They're very similar, but there's some of the information is a little bit different because an educator is going to want to look at how is this going to benefit my school, and of course a parent is going to want to look at how is this going to benefit my family. So that information, it will lead them to a page where they can put their information in there, and that information will be forwarded to me. One of the things that Patricia and I have talked about is because she is really our contact on island, that I would certainly love to work with her as far as any contacts that I make. So I would stay in communication with Patricia as far as anyone that I would be dealing with on island.
And of course, Keith would be willing to travel to the Cayman Islands
Oh yeah,
if he
absolutely.
needs to present himself in person in the program in person, a demonstration. Um, who wouldn't want to come to the Cayman Islands, right?
I haven't been in many years, and I would love to come back. I would definitely cherish the opportunity. I think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Well, that's great. Well, folks, we're just about ready to wrap up. Had a great conversation. Anything else you'd like to add, Patricia, before we say goodbye?
No, I'm just appreciative of you for allowing us to have this segment on your show, and it's been very informative. I hope that it will produce some positive results, and if we need to come back again for a follow-up, I'm sure Keith is willing to do that. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and look forward to something happening.
Okay,
Absolutely,
and
and of
Keith?
course, myself and on behalf of my team, we are very excited at the possibility of being able to support Cayman families and schools, and we would love the opportunity to do it. Just give us a call, look us up on the webpage.
Okay, great. Well, Patricia and Keith, I want to thank you all for coming down to
Thank you very much.
Cayman Conversations and being here and talking so much about this important topic. All pro
Thank you very
dads
much, Ralph.
is
Thank
what I
you.
want to be. And all pro dad, and I'm sure that many men and we want to encourage others. Thanks
Right.
once again. And we hope to see you again, Keith.
Thank you.
Well,
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
maybe we can
Thank
have
you.
someone here from a community organization to be a part of this. And at that time, you'll be here to say, okay, well, we made it happen. And Patricia will be smiling. That we've
I
done.
know. I know Minister Ebanks. He's pretty responsive to these things. You know, he's a very big-hearted person. So you might follow up with him, Ralph, and see what he says.
All right. Well, take care and enjoy your lunch. You can stick around for our next conversation, but thank you again.
Will
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you for having us. Talk to you soon, Keith.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
National Roads Authority wishes to notify the public of significant changes being made to improve the safety and functionality of the Grand Harbor roundabout. To optimize traffic flow and enhance public safety, from June 2023, motorists will no longer be able to turn onto South Sound Road or Crew Road via the Grand Harbor roundabout when exiting the Grand Harbor area. Those leaving Grand Harbor will need to travel up along Shamrock Road and circle the next roundabout if wishing to travel west. With the number of cars on our roads increasing and with the congestion seen on a daily basis in the area, the decision to close this exit was made to improve public safety and reduce the risk of collision. The NRA wishes to thank the public for their understanding and cooperation as we continue to work to improve the safety and development of Cayman's roads.
Red light.
Yeah. The sun is up, the sun is up. The sun is up and it's smiling. Another clear blue perfect day.
Paradise.
A warm breeze from the ocean.
Warm breeze blows your troubles away.
science and biology. Give them all a chance. How can one youth stand still and another dance? All the world deserves to smile for a while. All the world deserves to smile for a while, yeah. We're looking for love, but is there hope? This world is a place that can be so cold. There is one suggestion I'd like to propose, yeah. I'd like to rule the world for a day. 'Cause if I did, there'd be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month we feed, there'd be no more greed and we'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Let's change some way somehow. Change some way somehow. The future is right now. The future is right now. I think I just figured it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'd like to rule the world for a day. 'Cause if I did, there'd be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month we feed, there'd be no more greed and we'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Everything will be okay. Thanks, my friend Stuart Wilson. You want to say good afternoon and welcome to my friend Festa. Craig, as you know him, Craig.
The world for a day.
How are you, my friend? How are you, my brother?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Getting ready for the most awesome carnival Cayman has ever experienced. Cayman's Carnival, July 1st.
All right, all right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you for taking time to, spend a few moments with me today. And the Cayman Conversations is about talking with different people from all walks of life. And, I know you're from a long way back, and you're the man for Carnival, for, for Cayman. And also, I'm hearing that you're not going to be the man for Swanky soon. Tell me more about this, man, friend.
I'm sure we will get into that, but I did have a quick question for you.
Go right ahead.
If I have people, especially overseas, that would love to be able to tune in right now to this very gracious interview. How can I let my people know where to go right now? See what's going on.
Okay, Caymanian Times on Facebook. Caymanian Times on Facebook. If you go, just click on the intro. It's happening right now. It's live. Caymanian Times. CAYMANIANTIMES. Oh, Caymanian Times on YouTube as well.
All right, let my people know.
Yeah.
So this
we'll be having a rebroadcast probably tomorrow, because it's a real good show, and we had some difficulty with some of the radio situation today, but that's all right. We're here to make it happen.
Awesome.
So Caymanian Times, Facebook, and they'll be tuned right into you. Okay.
Right.
Yes,
so
my friend. How are you doing?
Let's get down to business.
Yes. Great stuff.
No, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me on to the show to be able to, give my little 2 cents on where we are, where we've come from, and what is the situation. Um, Personally, I have been involved with the organizations running carnival bands in the Cayman Islands for 20 years. I've been a part of the amazing culture of carnival, and it's been it's been my life. I mean, this is what I've done pretty much for my whole adult life. Bringing the joys of what carnival brings to the masses, and being a part of the revolution of carnival in the Cayman Islands. I can say when I first started this back in 2006, 2007 was my first carnival as Swanky International. The carnival on the whole was, lack of a better word, very small. Um, the participants we maybe had, and you can attest to this because you are the great DJ Ralph.
I was on some of those trucks, man.
100%.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
the carnival's grown from where participants we maybe had 400, 500 people in total on the road to what we now experience as carnival in the Cayman Islands. Again, when I first started out, I always tell the story. I remember filling out that first registration form where a large band was 60 people.
Mhm.
And the fight that we went through to convince people that, hey, listen, forget you forget we are the most Caribbean island because we are the most central in the Caribbean Sea.
Yes.
And it was about being able to take carnival to a different level. When I first got into this,
Okay.
um, I love telling this story about one of the pioneers of the development of carnival over the years, um, Joel Francis. We had a conversation the week of carnival back in 2007. Joel's like, so what's your intentions with this? Why are you doing this? And I told him, my goal was to see at least 400 people on the road with Swanky International. And Joel's like, bruh, no, that will never happen in your lifetime or my lifetime. That will never happen in Cayman. And I was like, well, we'll see. And I can proudly say I crossed 400 a long time ago. And it's about being able to give the same level of experience right here in Cayman that you can get anywhere else in Carnival.
Okay.
And
So one question. So Swanky is the mass band that you created, not the carnival.
not the Carnival. So Swanky
Okay.
International and KMAS are two separate entities.
Okay.
KMAS Carnival
So okay.
is the overall carnival, whereas Swanky International is the a band, a one of 13 entities
Yes.
involved
Okay.
in KMAS Carnival this year.
Yeah.
But
Just to explain to our listeners, yeah, just yeah.
100%. But I will say this: there's only one person, one person in this world that has both tattoos on their body.
What? Who's that?
Swanky International,
Okay.
KMAS Carnival.
All right. All right. All right. Okay. We got we put a patent in that, right? Okay. So tell us about Swanky and where Swanky is going first, and then we get into K-Mars after.
Sure, 100%. Swanky International is 17 years of carnival in the Cayman Islands, and I feel like a proud parent of what we've been able to accomplish with Swanky International. It's still right now, and I'm hoping that I will be able to say other bands in the same breath. But right now, it still is the only carnival band that has done over 600 masqueraders on the road for Cayman.
Okay.
It it has been a melting pot of different nationalities, and not even just Caribbean nationalities, but anyone that loved the carnival aspect, the energy, the color, the vibrance of carnival. We welcome with open arms. So it doesn't matter whether you're a white accountant at KPMG from Canada, or whether you're a college student, public works worker, bank teller. On that one Saturday afternoon, we are all one. We are all part of the Swanky family, and that mentality has been the driving force in the growth of Swanky International over the years. And honestly, as I said, 20 years of doing carnival bands, I came to the point where it was that time. It was that time for me to pass the feather costume mantle onto the bands that are now coming up, that the band leaders that are now taking the risks, taking the passion that I've had for so many years to carry Carnival in the Cayman Islands to that next level. So, it's, as I said, it's real simple. I just felt it was time for me to step away from that aspect of it, and to touch a little by stepping away with Swanky International. It will give me the opportunity to expand even more KMAS Carnival, because now I'm not split between the daily runnings of Swanky International and also KMAS. I can now put my full energy in the development of the Carnival product on a whole.
So will Swanky go away, or someone's going to take over your role in Swanky?
We'll we'll see in the coming weeks. Honestly, right now I can't say yes, I can't say no.
Okay.
But will see in the coming weeks. But I do know if it is taken over, it will only be bigger and better going forward and more impactful and continue to grow as I feel I've done year by year.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about. Thank you for all the time, and I think you've achieved a great feat by building a mass band to over 600 members in one group, and that's a real big, especially in the Cayman Islands. And but I have a question for you, which I always have to ask. And I've seen Carnival in Cayman progress. And I remember writing an article about maybe 10 years ago when I just launched my newspaper. And it was a picture of a lady in a bikini on the street. And the title was, "Is it a good time or bad behavior?" And so, so it was very interesting. And we got feedback from everyone. And but what we've learned was that carnival costumes have changed over time. And
Oh, no.
and some people say that Cayman is a conservative society, maybe not. But
Nah,
we're seeing some very sensitive costumes on the street. So is this the face of carnival going forward, or just letting people have fun?
Um, I honestly feel that in order for us to continue to be or continue to grow the competitiveness to compete against other carnivals, we have to stay with what the global carnival market is putting out. And honestly, Ralph, again, you've been on the road, seen it all, the growth of carnival in Cayman. The mentality towards carnival has changed so much, especially over the last 15 years. I mean, where before, people, like what you say, people were so conservative and so concerned with what others would have talked around the water cooler on Monday morning after Carnival. That
Yes.
that mentality, for the most part, has now gone by the wayside.
Gone away. Okay.
People are now starting to more accept Carnival. I mean, when I'm on the street and when I have people coming up to me telling me, Craig, we can't wait for July 1st to see
Yes.
what KMAS Carnival is going to put on the road. It's a very accomplishing feeling on knowing that and Swanky played a huge part in the change of that mentality.
Yes. Okay.
You know.
All
And
right.
I'll also say this. One of the arguments that I have fought through my whole Carnival career has been not arguments, but more train of thought that, oh, well, this Carnival thing isn't a part of our culture. And my response to that, Ralph, has always been culture didn't end at 1960. Culture is an evolving thing, and it's about being able to embrace what we have done. And nobody can say that Badabinu Cayman's Carnival is not part of Cayman culture because it has been here for 2 generations. 40 years of Carnival we have celebrated this year in Cayman. And
Yes.
I don't care what anybody say. That's more part of my culture than the heritage of rope making, turtling, even seafarers. I mean, of course, we have the utmost respect for that, but there's a huge difference between the development of the culture versus our heritage. So you best believe Carnival is very much part of our Cayman culture.
And you make a good point, and we'll just say that culture is dynamic because life is dynamic. The young people being born every day, and so therefore they have a culture. They're not gonna absorb or take on the old culture. They're gonna create of their own. The key is not to forget your older cultures, but embrace it and move on, develop your own culture. Let's talk about Kemas. When
Cayman's
is Kemas?
Carnival.
When is Kemas?
Cayman's Carnival is almost a week full of events kicking off on June 28th, straight through to the holiday Monday, July 3rd. Um,
Okay.
we are so excited to be going into, let's see, um, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, our straight, seventh straight carnival. Even during COVID, Cayman's Carnival still happened,
Okay.
and we are so excited about the numbers that we have involved at Carnival this year, the events that we have, the multitude of international acts, the international DJs or amazing local Cayman DJs or Soca Monarch competition. We are absolutely thrilled to be in the position that we are in right now to create what we're expecting to be the most amazing carnival experience on July 1st. The carnival itself, the parade is July 1st. Of course, taking the route that we've always taken with KMAS, starting in town by Eden Rock, heading to the jewel of Grand Cayman, Westbury Road, Public Beach. And
Okay.
as I said, the directors, all of us, we've been working so hard since last year, even before the end of last year's carnival,
Yeah.
we're working to make sure that everything is in order, all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted to make sure this carnival this year is something that people are going to be like, yo, this is it. And
Yes.
but as I said, we're excited. We have events going on from the Wednesday night straight through to the Monday, and it's a full blown proper carnival now, Ralph. I
Okay.
mean, full blown.
And it's on a weekend. So
Yeah,
I think it's in a month end as well. So everyone should have some cash in their pockets,
100%.
to have it come out and take on all these shows and have a great time.
100%. And it's a holiday weekend as well.
That's right. That's right. Give me an idea of the total amount of participants that you can remember in last year's carnival and what you're expecting this year.
Well, I would, if you're talking about the masses that we've ever had, the biggest one, because last year we still were coming out of the whole
COVID,
COVID.
yes. Yeah.
But in 2019,
Yes.
we estimated we had close to 3,000 participants on the road with Cayman Carnival. And we're hoping to surpass that. I mean, with the new bands on board like Wristband, Tribal Cayman is now on with Cayman's Carnival, Dream Carnival, Rebel Unit is moved over. Of course, the Unruly Ones, Part Animals with Fantasy Mass, Silent Mass, Renegade Mass is there, and we know they do their thing proper. Calabra is out there. Quintessentials with her. We are the only carnival in the world that has ever put a dancing pole on the road. all Quinn. And as I said, the bands that are a part of KMAS this year, it's as someone that created KMAS to see where we are now. It's extremely humbling. Extremely humbling.
Yes. Well, I remember, going to a meeting upstairs where there was a landmark building, and I think you were there with the group. That was years ago. You said, "Come on over, Ralph. We're starting KMAS. You want me to write the story?" I remember that meeting, and it's amazing to see where you and your group and directors have taken it. And I like progress. And of course, we had challenges. We had the pandemic, but here you are this year, planning for another big carnival for KMAS.
And I'll tell you what has been the key to where we've been able to get to the key to our accomplishments. We've been extremely organized. We've been extremely proactive, and it's all about business. It's handling it like a business and dealing with it like a business. And our directors over the years, especially this year, the chairman, Mr. Brant McLean, Wayne Kirkernel, Jermaine Sharp, Erica Moxham, Cindy Adams, and myself, the one component about all of us is that we treat this like professionals. And it's not one voice, but a collective voice of how we take KMAS Carnival forward.
Okay. Well, we have some much more questions about KMAS, but I have a question that I asked actually the organizer for Batmanu. Cayman has the most carnivals in any country in the world for a small island. Yeah, I think so. We have about 5 carnivals. Do you think there should be one carnival?
I honestly, I would do with one carnival a month.
I get that. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Because of the joy, the energy, the pageantry of a properly done carnival brings.
Okay.
And it's yes, there are 2 carnivals, but this is the way you have to now spin it. With us now moving out of the month of May into June, July, we've now created a summer festival for the Cayman Islands. Before, there was nothing in the Cayman Islands on a national level that happened between May and November. Now we are giving people another reason to come to the Cayman Islands during summer. And also, I remember many moons ago, when I was in university, I never got the opportunity to take part in Badu because it was always at last week of college or finals week.
Yes. Yeah.
Now the students while in university are able to come home and be a part of Kimas Carnival, and more importantly, bring their friends with them.
Yes.
So it's not looking at it as, oh, oh, this is too much, and all these carnivals. It's looking at it as we bring separate things to the table. We bring different opportunities to the table. And honestly, Ralph, if there's a market for it, why not allow the Cayman Islands to benefit from it?
And I appreciate what you've said. You are thinking outside of the box, and I welcome that kind of thinking. Yes, I mean, I thought that maybe we should have one carnival, but like you said, it's a whole year.
Yeah,
We need things to do in the Cayman Islands. Every holiday weekend, everybody jumps on the plane and go elsewhere because the complaint was there's nothing to do in the Cayman Islands.
100%.
But so by having 4 or 5 different events, whether we call them carnivals or not, that's a way of keeping people home and bringing more people here because they're leaving because there's boredom. They say Easter, there's nothing happening, the place is shut down. Christmas, the same thing. But here we are. We can have 6 different carnivals or 6 different events during the year that not only attracts tourists, but also help provide entertainment for people to stay here and spending money here rather than jump on a plane and go elsewhere.
100%. And I will expand on what you just said. When we were in May during the holiday weekend, which everyone's like, oh no, everybody travels that weekend. They leave the island. Why would you do that? The former government, the former Minister of Commerce, told us that within our second year of KMAS on that Discovery Day weekend, businesses saw a rise in their bottom line on that Discovery Day weekend because KMAS gave people a reason to stay right here and spend their money here. So again, it's and even more so, we had hundreds of people coming in to participate in our carnival, and a holiday weekend is the best option because it gives us more time to do more stuff.
Yeah.
So again, I try to, when I talk to people that come to me with that statement or that talk about, there should only be one carnival, this is my response.
Right. Okay.
Think outside.
And well, like I said, and that's why we have the conversation on Cayman Conversations. I do believe in life, every individual person has something to offer.
100%.
We need to listen to all parties involved. We may not like what they say, but give them a chance to speak their mind. And you never know. You might learn something that you never thought about. I may see things in a different light. So I'm happy to hear that you have a different opinion and you explain the reason why. And it makes sense. It makes sense. And so that's great. So we're having Carnival in the next couple of weeks. Festus is stepping down. What's next for Festa beside Carnival? Anything, any new things planned? And exciting things?
Oh, I'm always about the excitement. And that's why I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 20 years. But we are working on something. I am working on something. Don't want to quite spill the beans yet, and but I will say it still will be within Carnival. It still will be with the ultimate thing I've always been about, which is my little rock. Being able to expand the exposure of Cayman. And the people of Cayman. And I'll say this with regards to that. I've traveled the world of Carnival. I've been carnivals all over this world. And people be like, my goodness, Rod, you going to this carnival? You went to this one? And I was like, it's not going to these carnivals in order for me to enjoy myself. I go to these carnivals for the Cayman Islands. I go to these carnivals to spread the gospel of this amazing boutique carnival experience that we have created here in Cayman. And Ralph, I know you been in the soca industry for so long as well, have seen where you go outside of Cayman and you say anything about carnival here in Cayman, usually back in the day, the first question was, Cayman actually has a carnival.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am so happy to be able to say now, when you say Cayman, oh yeah, carnival coming up sometime soon, right? Oh, and even more so, oh wait, you from Swanky International. So, to be able to see that journey of the past 17 years where people had no clue to now people booking to come and experience what the most awesome, special, precious boutique carnival. We dubbed KMAS as a boutique carnival, meaning we don't want to be the size of Trinidad or Notting Hill or even Jamaica. It's about that selective few where it's about quality over quantity. And
Uh,
we continue the board of directors, all of the bands or sponsors. Big shout out to Flo for coming on board as the marquee sponsor over the next 3 years, I want to say. Believing in the product that we have. Big thank you to the government for now stepping up to the plate to say we see the potential this has. We are ready to invest into the development of KMAS Carnival, and the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
okay. I have a question for you before we wrap up. Um,
100.
I've looked in your band or your group, and I've noticed many foreign or
Yeah,
residents from overseas who have jumped in and joined in. How did you get them to take part in a brass band?
I love the
Uh,
question. Love the question. All right. Had to show some love to one of my very dear friends. Don't see her enough, but Natasha Casebolt, who used to work at was it Billy Bones? It was what it was called, the swim up
yes,
bar at Treasure Island.
yes,
Um,
yes. Mhm.
Back in 2007, my first year, I didn't have no bartenders, so I asked her if she would help me out for the road, and she's like, yeah, sure. So she brought her and two of her friends on that Saturday afternoon to do the bar for Swanky, and I had some spare costumes. So I was like, yeah, Tosh, would you all get in costumes working the bar? And the three of them were like, hell no. And I was like, look, listen, okay, just go in the bathroom, try them on. If you don't feel comfortable in them, then I totally understand. Ralph, they tried on the costumes. They took off them costumes. Natasha said at about 5 o'clock the next morning. And that was the start. So they
Okay.
started telling their fellow Canadians and Americans
Mhm.
about the awesome experience. And next year we had, I think it was about 25, 30 on the road, and then
Yes.
just started going. And I also remember there was a lady that came in. That was 2009, around 2009, and she was like,
Yeah.
I've always watched the parade go by. I've
Mhm.
watched Swanky for the last couple of years, and I love the costumes. I would love to be a part of this, but I just don't feel like I'm able to be a part of this because I'm not from the Caribbean. And plus, I have no clue how to dance the soca the way you are. And
Yes.
and Ralph, my response, and this is how I've been able to build the band to levels where there was 40% of the total participants were non-Caribbean people, expats. And my response
Wow.
are, well, look, at Swank International, we did this. We opened our arms. You want to experience my Caribbean culture? Come, let me show you. Let me share with you what is, in my opinion, the most amazing product to ever come out of the Caribbean, Carnival. And also, it's that mentality that, we don't have Canadians on the road. We don't have South Africans, Italians, Americans, Caymanians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bayesians. On that road, we got people that love Carnival. That's it.
That's
And and with the whole dancing thing, listen to me. With soca, Carnival, depending on the level of your anxiety, is how much liquid courage you need. And you know what I mean by liquid courage?
I know.
Once you feel that level of confidence, find yourself behind that sound truck, close your eyes, and whatever your body is doing, that's dancing in soca. That is enjoying Carnival. That is being a part of my Caribbean culture. And it just grew and grew and grew.
Well, first, I wanted to encourage you to enjoy the next carnival. And if anybody wants to join your group or join your band or join Swanky for this year, how can they reach you?
This is the last week. Registration closes this week because, of course, everything is custom made, right?
Yeah.
There's no going to Walmart pulling stuff off a shelf. Everything is custom made. You can register for Swanky International at swanky.ky. For those overseas, we even have a travel company that will cater to all your Carnival weekend travel needs. And that is WTFcarnival.com. And that's WTF standing for Will Travel for Carnival. So it's we are so excited about this year. We've added a new event that we've been in talks with the Downtown Restoration Revitalization Group about doing the first ever K-Mass Food Fest on a Friday afternoon out on Cardinal Avenue. And it's going to be an amazing experience. You can also find all the information on KMAS itself at kmas.ky.
Right.
And of course, you can always find all of us on Instagram and Facebook. But the journey for me has been long. It has been challenging. It has been literally a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But Ralph, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't.
One thing I'd say in life: live what you love, or love what you live. Well, thanks, my friend. It's always a pleasure to have you here on Cayman Conversations. Probably close to Carnival, you might come on with the group from KMAS and have a conversation with us. But have a great day, and I'll see you next time. And to all listeners, thanks for joining us with Festa, the Carnival Trailblazer.
And thank you so much, Ralph.
Thank you for joining us today at Cayman Conversations. We had two interesting conversations as we seek to elevate the level of media conversation with our special guests. The 90-minute show will also feature some music, and today we have a special song by my friend Joe Wilson. Join us tomorrow at 12:30 for a conversation with the new Chamber of Commerce President, Mr. Nelson Dilbert. Remember to like, share, and follow Caymanian Times social media pages, and also pick up copies of the newspaper. Wednesday's newspaper talks about the recommended changes at the Hurley's roundabout. So make sure you grab a copy at supermarkets, gas stations, and everywhere. Cayman Conversations is a production of the Caymanian Times newspaper. Have a great evening, and now enjoy Cayman Kind music from our local musicians. Good evening.
Red light.